All right, so we're talking about standard form of an equation, ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c must be integers, meaning no fractions or decimals. And the first thing we talked about are x and y intercepts. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, and the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. So we're going to find the x and the y-intercepts by using what I call the cover-up method. And we're going to start with this equation right here. So we have the equation 3x plus 4y. Well, when you want to find the x-intercept, that means that y equals 0. So I don't even plug in a 0 for it. I just cover the whole thing up, right? Because any number times 0 is just 0, right? So just cover it up and start with the equation 3x equals 12. Just cover up the y term. Just cover it up totally. Well, divide both sides by 3, and that means x equals 4. So my x-intercept is the ordered pair 4, 0. So we're going to use the same equation, and we're going to find the y-intercept. So remember, when we're looking for the y-intercept, we cover up the x term. We cover up the whole x term. And that gives us the equation 4y equals 12. So I'm solving for the y-intercept, divide both sides by 4, and I find out that the y-intercept is 3. So that's the ordered pair 0, 3. So those 2 points get plotted right on the x and the y axis, and that's a different way to graph an equation. So let's look at graph number 1. And let's see what the y-intercept is and what the x-intercept is. So what is the x-intercept and what is the y-intercept? Remember, I want you to write them as an ordered pair. X-intercept right here. What is that ordered pair? 2 what? It's the ordered pair 2, 0. X, or the y-intercept, that's this point right here. What's that ordered pair? 0, 3. Okay, write your intercepts as ordered pairs. Let's do it again. Let's find the x-intercept. Where does this line cross the x-axis? So what's the ordered pair? 1, 0. Good job. And the y-intercept, where does it cross the y-axis? 0, -3. Good job. So do you guys feel like you could look at a graph and find the intercepts? Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to plot these points on the graph. So I have the point 0, 3, which is my y-intercept, and the point 2, 0, which is my x-intercept, and I just connect them to form a line. So this is different. We're not using y equals mx plus b to graph a line. We're using our intercepts. This next example, the x-intercept crosses at 1, and the y-intercept crosses at -3. And these are the exact same graphs that we just talked about. These are exactly the same. This is what you just looked at. So you're just plotting 2 points and connecting them with a line. All right. So sometimes you're going to be given an equation like this equation right here, and you're asked to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Remember, when you want to find the x-intercept, y equals 0. So cover it up. Cover that up. So that leaves you with x equals 6. So the x-intercept is the ordered pair 6, 0. When you want to find the y-intercept, you cover up the x, cover it up, and that leaves you with the equation 2y equals 6, We're going to solve for y. So what do I need to do to get y all by itself? Divide by 2. So y equals 3. So that's the ordered pair 0, 3. So we're just going to plot those 2 points on our graph over here. Remember, this is my x-axis and this is my y. So I have to find 6, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's this point right here. And I have to find the ordered pair 0, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's this point right here. Once I plot my 2 intercepts, remember intercepts are always going to be right on the axes. I connect my points with a line and put some arrows on the end of my line. Okay. I'm going to write my 2 ordered pairs here just because I wrote them in the box, but I didn't put them in the statement. So the 2 points are 6, 0 and 0, 3. We've already graphed them. So let's do it again. I want to make sure you understand. So if I want to find the x-intercept, I need to cover up the y term. So that leaves me with what equation? It leaves me with what equation? 2x equals 10. How do I get x all by itself? Divide by 2 on both sides. So I find out that x equals 5. So that's the ordered pair 5, 0, because we let y equal 0. Now I'm going to go to the y-intercept. The y-intercept happens when x equals 0. So I cover up the whole x term. And that leaves me with what equation? Yeah, negative 5y equals 10. What do I do to get both the y by itself? Divide both sides by negative 5. So y equals negative 2. That's the ordered pair 0, negative 2. So I have the point 5, 0 and the ordered pair 0, negative 2. So 5, 0 is on my x-axis. 0, negative 2 is on my y-axis. I'm going to plot my 2 points. And then I'm going to, ooh, that's a horrible looking line. I'm going to connect them with a nice straight line. And that's it. What do you think?
I like this.
You like this?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to squeeze one example in here, right here. I want to give you one more example. I'm going to call it example number 7. I'm going to try and squeeze it in here.
We don't have any.
You don't have any space at all?
Can we do it at the top?
Yeah, do it up at the top then. Right here, is this where you're going to put it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do example number 7. So I'm going to give you the equation y equals 2/3 x plus 4. And I want you to write it in standard form. ax plus by equals c. So how are we going to do that? I have to get the x and the y on one side.
So you subtract.
I subtract the 2/3. Yes, subtract 2/3 x from both sides. So when I do that, I have negative 2/3 x plus y equals 4. Is this in standard form? Why not, Tessa? Well, I do have ax plus, this could have a 1 in front of it, so that would be by equals 4. So I have it in that form. What's the matter? Yeah, we have a fraction. A is a fraction. We cannot have any fractions. And A is also negative. And remember that leading coefficient, that first term has to be positive. So I have to get rid of the fraction. And the only way to do that is to multiply every single term by the denominator. What's the denominator of my fraction? 3. And if I multiply it by a negative 3, that will make that leading term positive, because a negative times a negative is a positive. So watch what happens here. So I have negative 3 times negative 2, which is positive 6, and 1 times 3 is 3, x. And I have negative 3 times 1, which is negative 3, y. And I have negative 3 times 4, which is negative 12. Does 6 over 3 reduce to what? Yeah, it reduces to 2 over 1, which is the same thing as 2. So this equation is now in standard form. My first number is positive, and it's an integer. So let's look at what your homework is. Let's look at your homework. Yeah, we're done with notes already. So, yes, sir. Question. Uh-huh. Are you talking about your homework number 3? Or the notes number 3?
It says notes at the top. It's
Is it the problem? Oh, you mean going for them. That's going to be your homework, actually. This one right here.
Yeah. How do we do 3?
Okay, I'll help you with it. Okay. So let's talk about your homework. First off, I want to give you some hints. So this is your first page of homework. It says independent practice. So all you're going to do for this one is look at the graph and identify what? Yeah, your intercepts, your x and your y intercepts. Okay? Make sure you write them as ordered pairs. Don't just put the number down. I want ordered pairs, okay? Got it? Then you're going to graph the 2 points and connect them with a line, right? Okay. Then you're going to use the cover-up method. Remember that? So if you want to find the x-intercept, you cover up the y term. If you want to find the y-intercept, you cover up the x term. Okay? Remember, I call that the cover-up. I don't think there's any other, like, I can't think of a better name for it than just cover up. If I want to find the x-intercept, I cover up the whole y term, including the sign in front of it. If I want to find the y-intercept, I cover up the whole x term, right? You guys feel like you can do that? Okay. So this one right here is a little weird, and I think that I can rotate it. You won't get a decimal. So it says graph the equations using the format given. All you're doing is graphing them, okay? So this one tells you what your slope is and what your y-intercept is. Remember that when you have an equation written in the form y equals mx plus b, you begin at b, and then you count your m, okay? This equation gives you your slope and an ordered pair. Gives you your x1 and your y1, right? So you start at the x1, y1 coordinate, and then you count m. For this one, I want you to use the cover-up to find your x-intercept and to find your y-intercept. Use the cover-up method.
Well, I understand that, but when you cover up the y to get the x, it would be -6 divided by -12.
Which is a fraction, 1/2. Right? Okay. Does that make sense?